What's going on, fam? Dave Jones, Uncle Cal, what's going on, sir?
What's going on, cuz? How you doing, sir?
Man, God is good. We making it happen. We back for another one. Ain't no stopping us. We about to jump into something hot. Protecting that mind. Let's go.
Yes.
Cal and Dave Jones are the hosts of the show. We living in some difficult times, as most of us know. Let's lift each other up and put down the stress. If you didn't know, the name of the show is called Rap.
All right. So here's something that's going to jump on the screen and should get your attention. All right. So it's a couple clips that we want to show you today. Today we're going to talk about basically it's social media, but at the end of the day, it's a bigger picture of what we want you guys to be aware of and to be cognizant of what's happening in the world. And sometimes we can get so lost in the trivial things and we miss out on what's actually taking place. I want to play this clip and then we're going to chop it up about it here in a second.
But what's interesting is the TikTok that Chinese residents, children in China get to see is very different from the one your kids are looking at here. Now, in China, where TikTok is known under a different name, videos like these are very common. Watch. Legends never die. They become a part of you. Interesting. The Rubik's Cube Olympics, showering the teacher with adoration, kids who can draw like draftsmen. Now, we saw all of those by registering an Apple device in China, just because we wanted to know what are they watching on TikTok. You know what American kids, your kids are watching on TikTok, stuff like this. As soon as we get started making love, going hard here.
So basically, we get the picture. Doc, what do you think about that, man? What's your initial thoughts when you see this?
Man, it's mind-boggling because with the internet, and social media period, and the reality TV, it's already a major distraction. With you either just like paying attention to the wrong things or using that as a way to make you feel like you got to level up, or it messes your priorities up because it had you chasing things that's not really reality, but they call it reality TV. You know what I'm saying? Reality TV.
Yeah.
And they call it social media, but it's not nothing productive or educational, really. I mean, it's out there, but you actually got to go to YouTube or Google and search for that thing that you looking for to learn about. You know what I'm saying? Because if you just scrolling, you know what I'm saying, if you're on Facebook or you on Snapchat or TikTok or Instagram, it's all the things like what you seen is put in front of you. Fat asses, women, showing provocative things, guys flexing money, jewelry, all the stuff that make you feel like working hard and the things that you're doing in your everyday world is not logical, and you're wasting time. And I think that adds to a lot of depression with people and have people feeling like they life suck. You know what I'm saying? Because you got the world showing you that they balling out every time you stroll through, and it make you feel like, you ain't doing enough, or your life just ain't worthy.
Right.
It's just, it's scary because that's why you got so many, especially our young folks, feeling like everything's supposed to come quick, easy, and it's supposed to be about glitz and glamour all the time. And, you don't supposed to work hard for nothing, which I give them a lot of credit, the young folks, for their mind and the things they learned to do to make money without having to work hard. But some of us just gonna have to work hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's so many levels. So we're talking about basically protecting your mind and the bigger picture. It's already, you start off, it's already one thing to know that these devices, they're distracted because basically we're attracted to the things that we follow or the people that we follow, and they pull us away from what we can create and what we can form with our hands. And that's what life is. You're created to create stuff and you were made to make stuff. And anytime that we are distracted from that, we are lost basically or wandering, comparing ourselves or looking at other people, and it causes a level of depression. That's like the first level, which is enough to literally destroy like a generation that comes through you if you're not careful and protect yourself from what social media can do. But then there's a higher level here that I noticed of ignorant or evil brilliance. Like there are people in the world that are motivated so selfishly to control. It's all a power game. Like it's not only do they want money, those that may be in a position that has built themselves in that esteem, but they also want the control. And we're talking about governmental bodies that are leveraging tools like social media, which is an easy, beautiful distraction, to now pit their country against another. So in the United States, here it is that the algorithm is promoting or curating things that are absolutely ridiculous relative to what a person's mind should identify as what is normal, what is the natural thing to do, or what the world is thinking of. And so if you're watching your phone all day, you assume that your timeline is what's going on in the world. But you go to somebody else's timeline and you realize that their timeline is totally different based upon how those algorithms are curated. But the country, if TikTok is owned by China, they are promoting, like literally from times 9 to 6, and I'll show you this, they're not allowing their kids to even access TikTok. That's the first thing. And then when they are accessing it, everything that they're showing them is all things that show them the possibility of what they could produce with their creative mind, how they should perceive what life is, what success is, what they should achieve for. So it's the programming that and the vision that the instrument is giving them that's giving them a step up as a nation. And while we're promoting hot dogs flying and chicks catching it with their mouth and booty popping and all that kind of crap, we associate what life and our creative ability, that's what we're supposed to be after. And if the kids aren't being trained properly, and then this is including us as well, then we'll get distracted in this ridiculous reality and begin to formulate our lifestyle, and just we'll lose our lead even as a nation, not only as people, but we'll lose it as a nation because somebody is usually leveraging these tools to gain power. This is huge. This is huge.
Right. It's actually scary too, man, because we want to say these little girls is too fast and these boys are too mannish, but then these phones are raising these kids. You know what I'm saying? They put in front of them because it's a good, distraction to keep them from, doing mischievous and bad stuff when a parent ain't, involved in doing their job to their fullest extent. They shove an iPad or a phone in these kids' face, and then, with these commercials jumping out the way they jumping out, then you got your kid going from looking at kiddie stuff on YouTube, to looking at adult stuff that you feel like they shouldn't know nothing about. Now, they promiscuous, they trying stuff, you find the stuff that you think that ain't in your kid's face, but because you're not paying close enough attention to what's going on, then they get into things that they don't need to see. And it's actually scary. And when you take it to the adult level, when you're a person that's either trying to focus on, getting your life to a certain place in the world, you almost got to shut yourself down away from them phones and social media. And you got to just kind of tune in to whatever it is you're trying to do, because the distractions are so out there that it's hard for you to focus on whatever it is you're trying to change, whether it's your diet with McDonald's and all this, Ruth Chris and different things popping up that's causing you to not be focused, sex, if you're a person that's trying to, deal with your urges and trying to get your life right. So, you can get the right woman. There's a lot of guys out here battling demons with just not having the right, surroundings around them, homeboys and family members, uncles, that make them think being a player is cool. and now you trying to figure out how to get these sexual demons under control that you battling, because all this time you've been having your way with just jumping around, sleeping with women and women, to where now you trying to get the fulfillment you need out of life, which is trying to settle down with one woman, and you battling these urges, but you can't do it because every time you look up, it's some fat ass in a thong in your face. So, you know, it's scary, you know. Then, like, if you just trying to normalize your life and live, you know, a straight normal life, even if you're trying to be a person where you're trying to get your spending habits under control, you're trying to budget your lifestyle because you see it's different things in your life that you spending money on that's frivolous spending, and you're trying to get that under control because you see where you could save a lot of money at just cutting a lot of things out. But then your phone popping all this foolishness up in front of you, jewelry, cars, clothes, new designers, you know, to where you like, man, you know, you're trying to cut out just spending money on food so much. You're trying to cook at home, and you see this new restaurant, they popping up, and it's scampi with this butter and oozing and garlic butter everywhere. You like, oh man, I need to try that, you know? So it's just, you know, it's a hard world to, you know, to try to live a disciplined life in when you got these phones in front of you showing you everything you really don't need to see if you're trying to live a basic lifestyle, you know?
Right. I think it's beautiful. We're talking about basically, it's hard to tell somebody what they should do and not do. They usually raise up that demon. You ain't gonna tell me what to do. And so that's not what our goal here. Our goal is to protect your mind. And we all have to do this because everybody has a beautiful distraction, something that sedates you and distracts you from the problems that you avoiding or the things that you are dreading to do. And you're distracting yourself from those things or to deal with those things. But inside of the distraction, not only is it taking us away from what we have the ability to create and produce, the things that we saying that we want, that we saying that we wish we can have, it's taking our attention from the possibility to produce it. Like, there is no way that we can produce whatever we wish for without paying attention for it. Our attention and our awareness have to be on that vision that we desire. And not only is it the problem here that we're saying that our vision is not in focus, so there's no way to produce it, but now what we are paying attention to as a beautiful distraction, it is now reprogramming us to thinking this is what life is. I'm going to play this second clip, and it's basically saying the same thing, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Yes, much more, but curated by the CCP, where they're trying, or you know, whatever, in conjunction with.
Here you go, right here. He'll start over in a minute.
Elevate the quality of the lives of the kids that are addicted to this TikTok. You know the difference between the way China does it versus the way America does it?
No.
Really interesting. China, first of all, between the hours of 10 a.m. and 6 p.m., kids are not allowed on it. They can't be on it.
Really?
They won't let them on it. Second of all, when you're on it, the difference between like TikTok in America is like dances and people doing pranks and people doing things to try to get viral views. In China, it highlights scientific achievements, athletic achievements. It highlights like people doing things, accomplishing things.
Wow. So it's a lot more curated.
Yes, much more, but curated by the CCP, where they're trying, or you know, whatever, in conjunction with, where they're trying to elevate the quality of the lives of the kids that are addicted to this TikTok. You know,
So now we're talking about it's protecting against somebody else. It's one thing to be distracted on your own merit, you know what I'm saying? But it's another thing to be in a position where somebody that has a level of intelligence that is evil, trying to program your kids on purpose away from achievement, away from the gifts that's inside of us, away from our ability to produce. Now it's like, wait a minute, like, you know what I'm saying? But you got to think about, this is how life has always been: systematic oppression, meaning a system to oppress what you think. We said there's always two things, and I think that we all need to be aware of this, that can stop us. It's either oppression or depression. Depression is, I always like to say, well, we take a thought. Well, I'm going to reverse it. Oppression is when somebody outside of us, whether it be government, whether it be times if you remember like in slavery or the police brutality or whatever you could think of, domestic, somebody outside of you is pressing you or oppressing you and stopping you from becoming the thing that you want to be. And then depression is where we take a thought and we ponder on it over and over, and we tell ourselves what we cannot be. So we do the depressing. So it's bad enough that depression is there relative to us being comparing ourselves to other people, what we missed out on in life, what we can't have. And so we tell ourselves we are not enough and we can't produce. But then at the same time, we got somebody else trying to misguide us about what is success. So you just have to be careful. Not telling nobody to don't look at TikTok or Instagram or whatever, but you got to be clear that the enemy is out to destroy whatever potential that you think you have and take it right under you. And it's intentional.
Right. Well, let's talk oppression and depression. Let's tie them two together. First of all, in China and a lot of these other countries, what people don't know, I done visited China 3 times. I done been to a lot of countries that you just come back to America and you will actually want to just take your bull by the horn and just ride it if you go to some of these countries, because China, along with a lot of these other countries, there's no way you can be born broke and become rich like you can in America. So a lot of this, like you say, is systematic, because once they get you to a point where they got you like with oppression, and then we already deal with a lot of depression, because it's especially, and I'm not trying to play this game because I know a lot of people deal with this, all races, but as a black man, or as black people, with the way things are set up for us financially, when you go to trying to make things happen in business, it'll just put a depression on you. You know what I'm saying? So with everything that in your creative mind that you can come up with to overcome your obstacles, and then it just always seems like there's another obstacle there to get in your way to depress you. Oppression is put there to make you feel like, okay, if we can control them with just putting things in front of them to keep them distracted, and they already feel distracted because it feel like it's already a hurdle that's depressing them, then it's a double whammy, you know. So with like I said, with me going to a lot of these countries and seeing that, hey man, it's really nothing standing in our way in America. You just got to buckle down and get in your zone and understand that, hey, no matter what happened, it's going to be always things that come up, but I'm going to find a way to jump these hurdles. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? I used to have a saying when George Bush was in office and people used to be talking about how tight it was and how crazy it was. I used to say, hey, man, we done made it through slavery. We made it through slavery, so I can walk through 4 years in the bushes. You know what I'm saying? And I used to laugh and just, use that as a joking way. But I bring that up to say, man, listen, we can overcome anything that we can do just being in America. You know what I'm saying? It's the only place in the world that you can be born broke and become rich. So with that being said, even feeling like, oh, I'm black and it's this and everything is against me, you got to understand that even being black and everything being against you in America, you still got better options and better things that, better chances to become whatever you want to be here than anywhere else in the world. And with that being said, if you go to some of these countries and you see that there's no way you can have a change in your lifestyle being born broke, it makes you want to come back here and grind and just, buck and kick against the obstacles, because you understand that, hey, it's possible here. Yeah. It ain't possible other places. Yeah. So you just got to know, man, you got to get off this TikTok and different things. When you trying to really focus in on what it is you're trying to do, you got to make time to just put your focus directly in on whatever it is you're trying to do, so you're not distracted. You know what I'm saying? Because we're getting older, we're running out of time. We got a recession coming. I don't know if y'all know it or not, coming up this coming year in 23. I feel it already. A lot of people around me saying they feel it. So it's time right now to just get away from a lot of frivolous spending, a lot of foolishness, a lot of things that's not becoming where you trying to go, you know what I'm saying, financially, and what you're trying to do. Because what's important is the only thing we need to be focusing on right now. Everything that ain't important, like a lot of frivolous spending, a lot of going out to eat, a lot of hanging, a lot of just dumb things. That's why, man, I sold a lot of cars in the last year, because it's like I got to the point where it's just like, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? You can't preach and talk to people that value what you're saying if you doing the opposite. It's hard for me to hold on to a lot of possessions or things that is not becoming of where I'm trying to go, if I'm telling people to, you know, buckle down on things, but I'm trying to be, you know, it's hypocritical. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you got to examine your life and understand what it is you're doing wrong, you know, and work on you, you know what I'm saying? And try to bring people up with you versus trying to talk at them. You know, I'm trying to rise and mature as a person as I am trying to share the things that I think we need to do as a nation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, I think this is all good. And none of us are on here coming with perfection. I always tell people, you don't ever have to be worried about what I'm doing, because the principle still works. If I'm in a position that I'm using my time to be a vessel, and that's all that we're doing, to communicate certain principles to help you be aware. You know what I'm saying? Don't look at my life as an indicator of whether you should listen to it. If the principle is profitable for you, you take the principle. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it works. I'm not God. And so, but I think the biggest thing for me, and then I'll let you close this or whatever, is I just want all of us to be careful and to protect our minds. There is an order of operation that needs to happen. If you are depressed, and we all come from these positions, like I've been in a season in my life where I definitely had depressive thoughts, climbing my way out of this. And so I'm talking out of experiential knowledge. The way that you process out, I'm having a heart here recently for men. Sorry, ladies, if you're listening, but this definitely applies to you. Is the first thing that needs to happen is you need to know what you want. You got to have a vision of what you can create. And that's the gift that God has given us. He's given us the ability to imagine something, imagine a future, whether it's something that we produce, something that solves a problem, whatever it is. The first thing is to be clear what it is that you want. And once you identify what it is you want, you have to protect that image to take it from intellectual property to form it in the natural. So what's going to stop you from forming that thing you want, that marriage, that house, that business, or whatever it is from the intellectual property is a bunch of distractions, oppression, depression, things that get you off your square, to get you from forming it with your hand. So we're in the middle. There are distractions that are out here that if we don't use, we talked about this before, our own team, which is our time, our effort, our attention, and our money, then somebody else will use it, right? And so today we're talking about our attention, right? In one of my financial consultations, when I talk with people, I say, before you can budget properly, you have to give your money an assignment, right? So your money, if your money doesn't have an assignment to play for securities or to pay for whatever you're trying to create or business you're trying to go in, it doesn't have an assignment, it'll go wherever the spending pocket is. Mm-hmm. So that's the purpose of a budget, to give an assignment. Same with your attention. Your attention needs an assignment. If your attention is not on a focus on what you're trying to produce, it'll find something. It'll find a distraction, because we are always thinking. And so if you're going to protect your mind, you have to itemize how you divvy out, how we divvy out our attention. And I'm not guilty of this. I want to be more disciplined in myself. You have to find something to focus on, that intellectual property, that vision that you want to produce. First up is a self-identifying, find what you're trying to birth into the earth. Without this, nothing we're saying is going to help, because our attention will find something. And unfortunately, it's finding these distracting things on TikTok, and it's giving us a perception of the world that is not real. You know what I'm saying? You cannot take what we learn from this fake reality and think that's going to work within our natural life when we have to interact with people. And so I'm just saying, protect your mind. Hope you can respond to this and you have the willingness to respond to this concept, because we all are becoming the better versions of ourselves. But we need these tools to help us get there and not just wish it'll get better.
Yeah, that was good. And it's funny, man, that you say your spirit is gravitating towards a man, because that's good, because I think the women are a little more focused than the men, and they tend to, buckle down and make it happen. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it got to do with them looking at, what responsibilities they have on them, especially if they got those kids, and they forced to make hard decisions and make things happen, because they understand it ain't about just them, because the man a lot of times often get up and run away from it, so men are so easily distracted because, they are not in a position where women, they come together a little more too, when it comes to making things happen. If you think about church or different, retreats, women, they do things together, to try to uplift each other. And men are a little more, you know, I got to make it happen. It's about, trying to separate themselves and just make it happen. So, you know, and it's easy. They easily distracted because it's oftentimes they trying to lace themselves with a lot of things that attract women or distractions they need to try to prove themselves. So, you know, I think, like you say, you know, in the times we living in, you know, moving forward, I just think a lot of us, you know what I'm saying, pretty much all of us just need to really buckle down and figure out what it is we're going to be focused on, and take some days out of your week and just tune in on that. Just shut down, just purge yourself. Say, hey, listen, I'm on today. I ain't gonna go on social media. I'm gonna focus on my thing, whatever that thing is that you trying to see in your near future, and get back to making to-do lists, you know, so you can find yourself, you know, checking things off and get to the point where you can see yourself getting something done, you know, even if it's once or twice a week, but to just keep making promises with yourself and then not seeing them come to pass because you're distracted by the internet. And that's another thing about the internet. A lot of people use social media to try to let people know what they're doing, improve stuff. And, you know, that's why a lot of people try to stay relevant with posting and all this. And it's just like, hey, the only person you really should be trying to prove something to is yourself, God, and your kids. Outside of that, you know what I'm saying? And if you're married, your spouse. You know, outside of that, you know, posting, if you ain't getting paid for it, is really like a distraction. Simply that. So I hope we said something today that get somebody motivated to, you know what I'm saying, get in their quiet place and buckle down and get more focused on what it is they're supposed to be doing, because, you know, the world is full of distractions, especially our world here in the United States.
Yes, sir, man. Let's take this opportunity to create the thing you want. We just don't exist. We can create, man. And so hope you found some love in that. Hope, you know, it is a wrap. Hope you're willing to respond to it. And we'll see you guys on the next. Hey, love you, bro. In a minute.
Cal and Dave Jones are the hosts of the show. We living in some difficult times, as most of us know. Let's lift each other up and put down the stress. If you didn't know, the name of the show is called Rap.